The film opens on a rainy afternoon during a high-stakes football game, where Jake Tyler, a talented and determined player, leads his team to a thrilling victory. Amid the celebration, tension erupts when an opposing player provokes Jake with cruel remarks about his late father, who tragically died in a drunk driving accident. Enraged, the hot-tempered Jake lashes out, starting a violent brawl on the field that quickly descends into chaos. As a result of his actions, he is expelled from the team. At home, Jake lives with his younger brother, Charlie, and their supportive, widowed mother, Margot Tyler. Jake's mother is deeply disappointed by his constant fighting, which has brought nothing but trouble to the family. Seeking a fresh start, the Tylers relocate to Orlando, Florida, after Jake's younger brother, Charlie, earns a prestigious tennis scholarship. On his first day at his new school, Jake witnesses what appears to be a fight, where a student named Max is being beaten. Rushing in to help, Jake is stunned when Max punches him, revealing that it's not a case of bullying, but an organized underground fighting match. Shocked and confused, Jake backs away as the intense fight continues. Back in class, Jake helps his classmate Baha by answering a difficult question that had left her struggling. Grateful, Baha thanks him warmly, and as she leaves, she gives him a lingering glance, hinting at the start of a new connection between them. The next day, Max approaches Jake and surprises him by mentioning the infamous football fight. Curious how he knows, Jake learns that a video of the brawl has gone viral on YouTube and across the internet. Max, impressed by Jake's fighting spirit, tries to persuade him to join the local underground mixed martial arts scene, but Jake refuses, wanting to leave his violent past behind. Jake's football fight quickly goes viral, making him an instant sensation on campus. Later that day, while walking home, he runs into Baha, who invites him to an after-school house party and hands him the address with a warm smile. That night, Jake arrives at the party and runs into Max, who introduces him to Ryan McCarthy, the reigning champion of the local mixed martial arts circuit. Having seen Jake's viral football brawl online, Ryan takes an immediate interest and challenges him to a fight, eager to test his skills. Jake, however, declines the offer, making it clear that he came only at Baha's invitation and has no interest in getting involved in any fights. Realizing that Jake has been flirting with Baha, Ryan wraps his arm around her in front of him, making it clear that she's his girlfriend. As Jake tries to leave, Ryan and his crew block his way. Ryan then cruelly taunts Jake about his father's death, pushing him past his breaking point. Overcome with anger and emotion, Jake finally accepts the challenge. The fight begins, and Ryan quickly dominates, showing off his superior technique and power. He humiliates Jake with a barrage of blows and mocking remarks about his so-called high school fighting skills.
As the fight is recorded by onlookers, Jake endures a brutal beating but refuses to stay down, rising again and again despite the beating. Eventually, Ryan delivers a powerful front kick that knocks Jake unconscious. Later that night, Max helps the battered Jake back home. The next morning, bruised and sore, Jake pleads with his younger brother, Charlie, not to tell their mother about what happened. After a week of Jake's absence from school, Max visits him at home and brings a collection of mixed martial arts training DVDs, encouraging him to study them if he ever plans to face Ryan again. Acknowledging Ryan's exceptional skills, Max advises Jake to come with him and meet his martial arts trainer, a man who could help him truly learn how to fight. The next morning, Jake follows Max to a local gym, where he's introduced to Max's mentor, the disciplined and experienced trainer, Gene Roqua. Roqua places Jake in the beginner's class to test his commitment. However, Jake's first day doesn't go well. He struggles to keep up and repeatedly backs down during the vigorous exercise. Before he leaves, Roqua gives him one golden rule to follow: no fighting outside the gym. That night, Baha visits Jake at his home, insisting that he must blame her for setting him up to be humiliated by her boyfriend. Feeling guilty, she apologizes for what happened, but Jake, still hurt and angry, finds it hard to forgive her. Unable to ease the tension, Baha leaves, disappointed and regretful. The next morning, Jake returns to the gym and officially pays Roqua's training fee. As he practices on the punching bag, Roqua begins to guide him, emphasizing the importance of control, balance, and rhythm, the core principles of martial arts. He teaches Jake to control his breathing so that each strike carries power and precision, demonstrating how every movement should flow with purpose. Through intense, disciplined training, Jake gradually improves his skills, earning Roqua's respect and trust. Back home, Jake gets into an argument with his mother after she discovers he withdrew $200 from their account to pay for fight training. Frustrated and disappointed, she worries that he's falling back into his old, violent habits. The next day at school, Baja confronts Ryan, telling him that his brutal fight with Jake was cruel and unnecessary. She accuses him of finding happiness only in hurting others and ends their relationship, walking away for good. Overcome with jealousy, Ryan grabs Baja's hand in anger. Jake steps in, demanding that he let her go. Ryan, refusing to back down, mocks him once again, calling him weak, just like his late father. Stung by the insult, Jake channels his frustration into training, pushing himself harder than ever. However, his aggression spirals out of control, prompting Roqua to send him home to cool off and regain his focus. Max offers Jake a ride home. While stopped at a traffic light, Jake drifts into a painful memory of his father's death. Suddenly, a Hummer pulls up behind them, honking impatiently. Irritated and on edge, Jake steps out to confront the three men inside, ready for a fight, but Max pleads with him to back down before things get out of hand. Still fueled by Ryan's earlier insults, Jake loses control and starts a street fight with the men from the Hummer while Max records the scene on his phone. Despite being outnumbered, Jake fights ferociously and defeats them. Max later uploads the video online, and it quickly goes viral, making Jake even more popular at school. However, Ryan and his crew struggle to accept Jake's rising reputation. Later, in front of Ryan, Jake reconciles with Baja, putting their past tension behind them. In the school washroom, Ryan ambushes Jake and beats him down, mocking him for thinking that a random street fight against three men makes him a Real fighter. He boasts that he's a two-time champion of the beatdown, an underground mixed martial arts tournament, and claims Jake will never measure up. Before leaving, Ryan viciously kicks Jake, injuring his leg. Later, Max explains to Jake that the beatdown is a highly competitive event held at the end of every season, where the best fighters battle for supremacy. When Jake shows up for his next training session, Roqua immediately notices the bruises and cuts on his knuckles, clear signs that he's been fighting outside the gym, violating the one rule he was told never to break. Disappointed, Roqua expels Jake from the gym. Back home, his mother confronts him, blaming his reckless behavior for bringing more trouble to the family and setting a poor example for his younger brother, Charlie. Later, while Roqua is out grocery shopping, Jake approaches him to apologize, admitting that Roqua was right. He had joined the gym for all the wrong reasons. Opening up, Jake shares the story of his father's death, revealing that deep down, he feels his mother still blames him for the tragedy. Moved by Jake's honesty, Roqua agrees to take him back as a student. Training resumes with greater intensity, with Max joining as Jake's sparring partner. Under Roqua's guidance, Jake learns discipline, strategy, and the official tap-out rules of the beatdown tournament. Roqua then opens up about his own past, revealing that he once had a younger brother named Joseph, a gifted mixed martial artist. One night at a bar, Joseph got into an argument with a local bully that escalated into a fight. Though Joseph won the brawl, the victory was short-lived. He was tragically shot and killed by the bully's friends. Roqua's father blamed him for allowing the conflict to spiral into violence, insisting it could have been prevented. Overcome with guilt, Roqua left home and has not returned to Brazil or seen his family in the 7 years since.
During his private lessons, Jake receives advanced training from Roqua, learning the importance of positioning and adaptability, how to stay calm and find a way out when pinned down in a fight. Meanwhile, Jake's relationship with Baja deepens, growing into something more passionate and genuine. That night, Jake's mother visits Roqua at the gym. Roqua assures her that Jake is a good kid at heart, and that his anger has greatly diminished since he began training with discipline and purpose. Jake confides in Max that he's decided not to compete in the beatdown tournament, respecting his new girlfriend Baja's wishes for him to stay out of trouble. When Ryan learns that Jake won't be participating, he devises a cruel plan for revenge. Pretending to be friendly, Ryan lures Max to his house under the guise of hanging out. Once there, Ryan viciously turns on him, savagely beating him. Later that night, Ryan's crew dumps Max, bloodied and unconscious, outside Jake's home. Horrified, Jake rushes his injured friend to the hospital, filled with rage and guilt. Devastated by what happened to Max, Jake changes his mind and decides to enter the beatdown, determined to confront Ryan and avenge his friend. He visits Roqua and tells him about Max's hospitalization. Roqua warns him against fighting out of anger, urging him to let go of his desire for revenge. But Jake, unable to stand by and do nothing, insists that he has to face Ryan, not just for vengeance but to prove something to himself. Resolute, he moves forward with his decision to compete in the tournament. At the beatdown tournament, Jake watches intently as the fierce competition unfolds before stepping into the cage himself. He battles through a series of tough opponents, showing determination and skill despite the odds. Meanwhile, Ryan dominates his own matches with ruthless precision, overpowering his first opponent in brutal fashion. In the semifinals, Jake faces one of his hardest challenges yet, a fighter who targets his previously injured leg with relentless kicks. Back in the dressing room, Jean, Roqua and Baja visit him, offering words of encouragement and giving him the strength to push forward. Both Ryan and Jake advance through the rounds, each securing a spot in the finals after defeating their opponents. However, Ryan is ultimately disqualified for an illegal eye-gouging move during his match. When Jake learns that Ryan has been removed from the beatdown, he deliberately taps out just 1 second into his semifinal bout, forfeiting his chance at the title. Later, outside the venue, Ryan ambushes Jake in a final act of rage. Jake tells him that he didn't enter the tournament to win. It was to face him and make things right for what he did to Max. With that, the two face off one last time. Enraged, Ryan lunges at Jake, and the two engage in a fierce, adrenaline-fueled brawl in the club's parking lot. Word of the fight spreads quickly, drawing the crowd of fans and fighters outside to watch. Ryan overpowers Jake at first, landing a series of heavy punches and targeting his already injured leg. As Jake struggles to recover, Baja pleads with Ryan to stop, but her cries fall on deaf ears. Consumed by jealousy and rage, Ryan continues to pummel Jake mercilessly, determined to prove his dominance. As Ryan locks Jake in a chokehold, Jake's mind flashes back to his brother Charlie, his motivation and reason to fight with purpose, not anger. Summoning his remaining strength, Jake manages to roll out of Ryan's grip and lands a powerful punch that stuns everyone watching. When Ryan charges at him again, Jake remembers Roqua's teachings, combining precision, control, and focus. He counters with a series of well-timed strikes, finishing with a perfectly executed roundhouse kick that sends Ryan crashing to the ground, unconscious.
Ultimately, Jake emerges victorious. The crowd erupts, chanting his name, as he embraces Baja in a triumphant moment of joy and relief. Charlie is finally discharged from the hospital, bringing peace and happiness back to the family. With his work at the gym complete, Roqua closes the doors and returns to Brazil to reunite with his family, leaving Jake to continue his journey, stronger and wiser than ever.